Hi, everyone. Before we get started here, I wanted to test the sound. If you can hear me, either hit the raise hand button, which is at the bottom right-hand side of your screen, or you can also type in the chat window, which should also be at the bottom right-hand side of your screen. Just say if you can hear me or not. Okay, it doesn't look like anybody's saying anything in the chat window. Oh, they are. Okay. All right, we got some hand raises. That's good news. We're going to give it about a minute or so, let people log on, and then we'll get ready to go. Okay, looks like people are still joining on. We're going to give it another minute or so and see if a couple more people show up. All right, hi, everybody. We're going to get started. Welcome to the first ITJD NEG CompTIA webinar. It's a bit of a mouthful. We're focusing on CompTIA's certification roadmap tool and the IT Job Locator tool. My name is Jeff LaRoe. I'll be here co-presenting with Nicole Maceberg. Nicole and I were both counselors at LWIA 6. She was there for about 7 years until 2014. I was there for 4 years until 2012. The reason why I mention this is just to reinforce that we're coming at this whole IT JD NEG project from a counselor's perspective, right? We want to make it as easy as possible for the counselors to not only assess IT clients, but get them to the right training and then get them in a job, work-based learning. It's important to note that all of these tools that we're discussing in this webinar and all the future webinars will be available to you guys in the long run as well. It's not just for the JD NEG grant. We're really looking at the long term with a lot of these tools that we're researching. This is the first webinar in a planned series of webinars, so we wanted to keep this one pretty quick and breezy for everybody, which is why we're only going to focus on 2 really simple tools for you today. The content in these webinars were based on the concerns that you guys brought up at our December LWIA meetings, so we had 2 of those. And basically, we heard you. You guys had expressed interest in getting help with a myriad of different things, and we plan to create webinars for each one of those topics. One last thing before we jump into all this, we'd like to encourage your participation in all of this, because everything we're doing here is based off of what you guys have said that you need. So the way that we have this webinar set up is with a chat window. So if you have any questions, or if you can't hear me, or if I'm mumbling or speaking too fast or anything like that, feel free to say that in the chat window, okay? Make sure your message is sent to everybody, because sometimes the WebEx chat screen defaults to send the message only to the presenter. So there should be a little drop-down button that says you can send it to all participants instead of just the presenter. Nicole is going to be manning your questions in the chat window, and I'm going to be blabbing away throughout the webinar. She might actually pop in and out of the webinar as well in case she has something to add. All right. Hopefully you guys can see this PowerPoint that we have going on here. Just a little bit of information about CompTIA. We're a nonprofit IT trade association. Our 4 focuses are to educate the IT channel, to advocate on behalf of the IT industry, to certify the IT workforce, and to give back through philanthropy. In terms of this specific JD NEG grant, CompTIA has partnered with DCEO. We're basically here to assist the LWIAs in getting the 530-odd IT clients assessed, trained, certified, and placed into work-based learning by October 2016, which is a pretty tall order. That's a lot of people to get in there. The idea is for us to figure out the most efficient way to find and assess IT clients to get them back to work, and then relay that information to the LWIAs. I should also note that Jill Meskey and John Barr are on this call. They're from DCEO, so I think they're going to chime in at the end of the webinar as well. All right, let's get into it, shall we? Let's go to the next slide here. First thing we're going to talk about, again, we have 2 simple tools that we're talking about today, and the first one's going to be the CompTIA certification roadmap. First thing I want to show you guys is how to actually find CompTIA's IT certification roadmap. I think the easiest way is just in this PowerPoint, which we're going to send out to everybody. We have a direct link to the certification roadmap page in there. But there are 2 additional ways to navigate to that IT certification roadmap, and I'm going to show you that in just a second as soon as I jump over to Chrome here. All right. So if you're at the CompTIA website, it looks a little something like this. You click on certifications in the top right-hand corner. I'll bring it to this page here. You hover over Explore Careers, and there's a drop-down menu there, and you click on Career Roadmap right there. There's a second way to get to it, and that's from the Illinois WorkNet JD NEG website that Nicole and I are building. It's kind of a site that's in its infancy at the moment. Nicole and I are writing content for the site, but it's still pretty new. The way that you get to it is you go to www.illinoisworknet.com/job-driven-NEG, and it'll take you to this page. Under this IT assessment tools, you click on the first link, And then the first link is the certifications roadmap, which will bring you to this page here. Now, what is the certifications roadmap, and how can it help you as a counselor, as a case manager? One of the harder aspects of being a career counselor, at least from my perspective, was making sense of what I call alphabet soup. And what I mean by that is all the acronyms that you have to learn, right? There's the A+, the Net+, the CCNA. With something like truck driving, it's pretty simple, right? There's just the CDL certification. And something like healthcare, there's the CNA, there's the RN, there's the LPN. But in IT, there's kind of an outrageous amount of acronyms out there that you guys have to know and understand and know what levels of experience each one is. And understanding what means what can be a giant miserable headache, right? So the roadmap largely aims to fix that problem. Like I said, there are two different versions of the roadmap. The first one that we're going to go through is just a PDF version of it. It's right here. So if you click on download full roadmap right there, it'll take you right to it. I'm actually going to switch to that now. Okay, so here's the PDF version of the IT certification roadmap. Basically, it's a great, quick visual guide to make sense of all that IT alphabet soup that I was talking about before. I actually have a copy of this printed out and pinned on my cubicle just because I find it to be such a great, easy resource for me to use. I had it at my previous position as well. It was one of those things where when I first saw this roadmap, I wish I had it when I was working at workNet because I think it would have made my life a lot easier at the time. So hopefully you guys will feel the same. It's broken up by career levels on the top of the page. You'll see beginner up here, intermediate, advanced, and expert. Another way to look at this is beginners say 0 to 2 years of experience, intermediate 2 to 3 years of experience, advanced probably something like 5 to 7 years of experience, and the expert column is probably something more like 10 to 15 plus years of experience in IT. On the right-hand side, you're going to see broad areas of IT listed, so information security, network and cloud technologies, and so on. If you're looking at something like network and cloud technologies, you can follow this line all the way over to the left side of the screen, and you'll see what beginner novice certifications you should get if you're at that level, intermediate certifications for network and cloud technologies, and so on. So a great way to use this is something like, if the perfect client comes in to meet with you, his name is, Paul McPerfect client or whatever, and he comes in and he says, I have 2 years of experience in network and cloud technologies, and I'm still at an entry-level role, but I'd like to jump to the next level in my career. If you look at this career roadmap, you can see that, okay, this Paul McPerfect client is over here in this category, and he's willing to get his, say, A+, Net+, and CCNA routing and switching. That makes a lot of sense, and it's really easy to make sense of that by looking at this career roadmap. But if his evil twin comes in and says, I have a couple years of experience in network and cloud technologies, but I'm interested in getting my, say, CSP certification or CCIE certification or something like that. You can look at the certifications roadmap and see, okay, this not-so-perfect client is right here in network and cloud technologies as a beginner, but they want to jump all the way over to IT management and strategy, CSP. They want to get like a CCIE, which is over here, right? It doesn't really make a lot of sense for that client to do that, and he's going to have a really tough time getting a job if he gets those certifications. So it's just a really quick visual guide for you guys to use. Like anything in workforce development, these certifications aren't absolute necessities in the same way it's not an absolute necessity for a business manager to have a business degree, right? But certainly that business degree is going to help that business manager become, what he wants to be. And it's the same thing here. If we use this network and cloud technologies example again, you don't necessarily need all, however many certifications there, all 10 of those certifications to be the intermediate experience level as a network and cloud technologies professional, but it's certainly going to help you out to have 2 or 3 of those certifications if that's what you're looking to do. Now you'll notice on this PDF, we have more than just CompTIA certifications. It has Microsoft, it has Cisco, PMI. We didn't want this to be something that counselors could only use for CompTIA stuff. We wanted it to be universal. If you scroll down a little bit, you scroll to the second page of the IT certification roadmap, you'll see a list of IT certifications organized by provider. So there's Microsoft on there, there's Cisco, et cetera. It also tells you what experience level each certification is, and that's written in blue. It's kind of small in there. Once you download the PDF, it's a lot easier to see. This is just a different way to organize IT certifications and give them some sense of structure and make it easier to understand. So it's just another kind of additional tool you can use along with this first page. That's the basic gist of the first version of the roadmap. The second version of the roadmap is, I'll show you in a second. Let me switch over to Chrome here. All right, the second version of the roadmap is on the same page that we were on before. You just scroll down, and it's an interactive online tool. This is really meant for the individual. So, for example, a job seeker, anyone who's underemployed, anyone currently employed in IT who's looking to boost their career, or say a career changer interested in pursuing a career in IT. On the left-hand side of the page, you're going to see the same broad areas that we had on the PDF file. The only difference is the inclusion of the office productivity and just starting my career categories. If you click on one of those, let's just click on information security here. You're going to see pretty similar information to what we were looking at on the PDF. It just goes a lot more in detail. So we're looking at beginner level. That's the 0 to 2 years of experience, intermediate, 2 to 3 years, and so on. And we can go all the way down to expert down here. The additions to the online tool. So if you look up here, it says average salary, US dollars, $103,000, not too bad, right? We pulled those numbers from, I think it's called Computer World. It's their salary survey. It's a very reliable IT salary survey that they do yearly. And you can click over to that link by clicking on this down at the bottom that says see salary averages for various IT jobs. Now that's an average for all experience levels. It's beginner, intermediate, advanced, and expert salaries all averaged together. That's why it's such a high number. I mean, a beginner novice isn't going to make $103,000 right out of the gate, right? Right next to that, we have current demand, which is pretty high, and that's good to know. That's from the U.S. Department of Labor is where we pulled that information from. Underneath that, we have the design and implement security measures that thwart attacks. Basically what it is just an explanation of what information security is. What is a professional who's in the field of information security, what do they do, right? If you scroll down a little bit, you can hover over all of these certifications, and it's going to tell you a little bit about what that certification actually is. So we hover over the A+, and it says the CompTIA A+ certification is the starting point for your IT career, blah, 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 right? And you can do that for any one of the certifications listed on this. There's the Microsoft Technology Associate certification. There's all the Cisco certifications, and so on. If you want to go even further than that, you can hover over, say, CCNA security certification here. If you click on that, it'll actually bring you over to Cisco's page for CCNA security certification, and you can read about that certification on their page. Now, one thing that I should note here is that all of the CompTIA pages that those links go to are obviously going to be up to date because we own those pages. But, you know, every once in a while, Cisco is going to completely overhaul their website, and we don't have any control over that. So if those links are dead, we're going to try and be on top of that as much as possible, but they might be a dead link on there. Hopefully not, though. If you scroll down a little bit as well, you'll see on the right-hand side, there are these little tips for each experience level. So make sure you have several years of work experience to succeed with these exams, and so on. On the left-hand side, underneath certification providers here, you can select or deselect any search that you want by the certifying body. So if you only want to show, say, Cisco certifications, you can select none and then select Cisco systems certifications for information technology. You'll notice there are no Cisco certifications under the beginner novice section there, but there is one under intermediate, and I think there's one under, two under expert or advanced, I should say, there as well. And it's the same deal. You can hover over them and get a little bit of extra information about what that actual Cisco certification means, and you can click on the link and go over to that Cisco page. In addition to that, you can click this View All Certifications button here. And what that shows you is every single certification that we have in the certifications roadmap, right? There's intermediate, there are all these different certifications listed there and so on. This is really a useful tool for someone who wants to see all of the different certifications within their experience level. So if someone comes in and they're brand new to IT and they just want to know all of the certifications that they'd be appropriate for, they can go under this tool and see this list of 20, 30 odd certifications that we have listed under the beginner novice category. All right, and that's about it for the certifications roadmap. It's very easy to use. It's very intuitive. You guys can start using this right away. Like I said, when I first saw this tool, it was something that I completely jumped on as a career counselor. It was something that really made my job a lot easier. We're going to switch over now to the IT Job Locator. Let's switch back to the PowerPoint real quickly here. All right, the first thing that I want to show you guys is how to find the IT Job Locator tool. Now again, there's a direct link to the IT Job Locator tool in our PowerPoint, but there are also those two additional ways to navigate to the IT Job Locator tool. The one is very simple. It's just the same way that we got to the roadmap through the JD-NEG site. So you're on this page here. Oh, let me share that screen. Hang on one second. Okay, if you're on this JD-NEG site, the same one that we were on before, to click on the certifications roadmap, if you click down here, it'll bring you to the Job Search Locator tool. You can also find it through the CompTIA website. If you're on CompTIA.org, you go up to certifications, same thing that we did before. You're going to hover over Explore Careers and click on Getting America Back to Work. And then if you click on this Place button down here, it'll bring you right to it. Like I said, this is a very simple tool. It uses Indeed to find IT-specific jobs in a zip code radius. So since we're all in workforce development, I'm assuming everybody here is relatively familiar with Indeed, I would hope. Our job locator, it has a drop-down box of IT jobs, which is helpful to the user in pinpointing targeted job titles, as well as matching certifications to those job titles. The big benefit of this tool is that it makes it really easy to target a specific IT role based on what certifications you have. So, for example, let's click down in this drop box right here, or drop-down menu, I should say, and what you'll see is job titles associated with the CompTIA A+ certification, and then there's a host of different job titles listed. There's Depot Technician, Enterprise Technician, Field Technician, so on and so forth. If we click on Help Desk Technician, let's say your client came in and he's getting his A+, and now he's entering in his job search, and he's looking for help desk roles. Click on Help Desk Technician there. If you type in your zip code, whatever that may be, and then you click search, it's going to kick you over to Indeed, and it shows you all the help desk technician roles within that zip code that you typed in. This is particularly appropriate for entry-level and mid-level technician jobs that many of the clients will be preparing for through this specific JD-NEG grant. We're expecting a pretty large portion of the 530-odd JD-NEG clients to be in that sort of beginner intermediate level, and they'd be the perfect demographic basically for this tool. Another use of this tool that you guys can use, if you're in business services units or anything like that, you can type in help desk technician around, say, 60181, and you can see what kinds of companies are hiring in that area. So that might give you an idea of who you can contact for the work-based learning opportunities for these 530 JD-NEG clients. We're hoping to have some really good information on that with burning glass pretty soon, but that's just an additional tool that you can use that for. And that's it. It's a very simple tool. You can show your clients. They can start using it right away. Jump back to the PowerPoint here. All right. Really, we want to open it up for any questions that you guys have. Again, we're basing all these webinars off of things that you guys have told us. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to type it in the chat window now. We'll go through any questions, and then I think we're going to let Jill speak a little bit. Is that correct? No? Oh, okay. I guess that's not happening. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and type it in the window there. Or if you can't think of any questions now, but you think of some after the webinar is over, we have our email addresses on this PowerPoint presentation. We're going to be sending this PowerPoint presentation to everybody, so you're going to have our contact information. You can email us. You can call us with any struggles that you're having in either finding the right IT clients or assessing those clients or any problems like that. All right, it doesn't look like we have too many questions here. One thing that I want to say, though, is we want you guys to keep in mind, where are you struggling when working with your IT-focused clients? What information would you find beneficial to make the IT-JD NEG grant a success? For example, are there any issues with finding employers? Have you been able to find enough IT clients? Things like that. And just send us emails or give us a call if you think of anything. We also have a list here of, I should say, tentative upcoming webinars. The one that we have that's nearest to now is next Friday. That's also tentatively scheduled. We're trying to get everything worked out here at CompTIA with our tech team to make sure that that happens. But we have it tentatively scheduled for the 20th from 11 to noon, and that's going to be about technical aptitude tests. So we know that you guys have been struggling in testing IT clients to see if they're actually going to be successful in IT. So we've been doing a lot of research and reaching out to those companies that have technical aptitude tests, and we're going to bring those to you next week. Beyond that, we're going to do a webinar on IT resumes and transferable skills. We're also going to do one on participant outreach and marketing tools, so for employers and getting those employers to be part of the program. And then we're also going to have a webinar about the Illinois WorkNet IT JD NEG website that Nicole and I are putting together. All right. Thank you, everybody. Here's our contact information. Like I said, we're going to send this out to you. We also recorded this webinar in case you guys want to hear my voice again for another half hour. We'll be putting it up on that Illinois WorkNet JD NEG website as soon as possible, and you can send it to everybody who maybe wasn't able to attend the webinar if they were busy. All right, thanks everybody.